Everywhere you look online, it seems like the term Web3 keeps popping up in one context or another. It has come to a point where even my friends, who otherwise have nothing to do with crypto, are asking me, what in the world is this Web 3.0 that we keep hearing about? I have to admit, it's not a simple question to answer. There's no one set definition for the term, and experts seem to use advanced tech speak and complicated terminology when defining the concept. Well, I'm up to the challenge. We'll try to discuss the topic in an easy to understand manner. Before that though, welcome to Crypto Finally Explained, the top YouTube channel for crypto education. Here, we explain topics of the crypto world using simple analogies, visual stories, and different examples. So no matter if you're 5 or 75, you'll be able to understand them. In this video, we're focusing on Web 3. Specifically, I'll be answering questions such as what Web 3 is, how it works, and how Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 are different from Web 3. Ready? Let's get to it. So, what is Web 3? According to the fancy definition, Web 3 is an idea for a new iteration of the World Wide Web based on blockchains, which incorporates concepts including decentralization and token-based economics. But what does Web 3 actually mean? As with most seemingly complex topics, in order to understand Web 3.0, also known as the new internet, we should probably first explore the earlier iterations of the concept, namely Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. Now, starting with Web 1.0, it can be viewed as the very beginning of the internet. It's kind of mutually agreed upon that this version of the web lasted from the 1980s up to the early 2000s. The defining characteristic of this form of the web is the fact that users were only able to view the information online without really being able to customize their experience while doing so. Let's call it the read-only internet, where users were consumers of the data. In general, even this was a completely new concept. People would be used to accessing all of their information in newspapers and books. Web 1.0 basically digitalized this experience. Specifically, you could visit static web pages and read up on topics that interested you. In most cases, you couldn't create personal profiles, and your whole browsing experience would be directed around accessing information that you're searching for. In other words, there was nothing personal about this form of the internet. It was purely revolved around consuming the information. Being a completely new concept, naturally, Web 1.0 had a lot of obvious downsides. One of them, as I've just mentioned, was the lack of personalization. However, this version of the internet experience was also very slow, and users would have to possess a lot of patience in order to receive or send pieces of information. With time, as the internet became more and more popular, it started expanding in functionality too. The rise of social media platforms and data collection channels marked the beginning of what we now call Web 2.0. In other words, the current version of the internet that we all know and use. This is where we get into the Web 2.0 part of the video. What defines this version of the web? Honestly, one word: you. Web 2.0 brought with itself the ability to interact, not just consume. These interactions may come in the form of creating social profiles, identifying yourself to large tech companies, and thus customizing your experience on the internet. The web became much more personal, with your browsing experiences tailored to your personal preferences, wants, and needs. User connections and social participation became key factors of this form of the internet. The whole idea and purpose of the internet was changed. Web 2.0 is more about showing yourself by sending or receiving data instantly via live streams, video sharing, and instant messaging. Content type transformed from static to dynamic. Data became instantly accessible. Facebook and Google are the usual examples when it comes to the earlier mentioned companies. These two brands are data collection and personalization giants. It has come to a point where you could say that they know what you like and dislike better than you do yourself. The platforms collect and analyze your information and then sell it off to third-party advertisers so that they could do a better job at targeting their ads at you. These processes have become so advanced that you might simply think about wanting to purchase, say, a plush teddy bear and start seeing ads for your local toy store the next day. Now, naturally, there's no black magic involved. However, such joke examples just go to show how much personal info we give up and how far the aforementioned processes have come over the years. As you can probably imagine, the biggest concern for Web 2.0 is user data privacy. While we do actively choose to give up our personal information to these large data aggregation platforms, it has come to the point where people have started to search for alternative ways to use the internet. Ways that wouldn't involve centralized institutions controlling everything that we see online. This is where the concept of Web 2.0 versus Web 3.0 comes in. The simplest definition of Web 3.0 is a decentralized internet. It's a form of the web that would allow users to, frankly, remain anonymous while using it and only share data that they themselves feel comfortable sharing. That said, this form of the internet would also be much faster and utilize data analysis. The internet will become smarter because of quantum computers and self-learning algorithms or AI. The experience of the Web3 internet will also change. We will start hearing more about metaverse, virtual realities or augmented realities as a data medium. Data types will go from purely dynamic to live data and, in most cases, will change and be produced instantly on the go. Web3 wouldn't be controlled by any of the earlier mentioned centralized institutions. Instead, it would be completely decentralized, meaning lacking any central companies or brands that would dominate the space. So, no more presidents or CEOs. Now, how is this possible? Well, currently, Web 3.0 is explored through the lens of crypto technology. For example, Bloomberg has described Web3 as a concept that would build financial assets in the form of tokens into the inner workings of almost anything you do online. Let's get something straight. Cryptocurrencies aren't necessarily associated with Web 3.0, at least inherently. It's perfectly possible to create a decentralized version of the internet without any of the currently existing crypto assets. That being the case though, cryptocurrencies and the technology behind them help to conceptualize this goal much easier. Now, cryptocurrencies are built on blockchains. Let's call them special databases that are mostly decentralized. In order to earn cryptocurrencies, oftentimes you have to participate in a process known as mining. Basically, you need to plug your computer into the network and dedicate its resources for calculations to help confirm the transactions happening on said cryptocurrency's blockchain. This way, you become an active participant of the network and help keep it decentralized. Lastly, in order to send and receive cryptocurrencies, you need a wallet, an app where your crypto assets are able to be kept safe and sound. Each wallet has two codes, a public address and a private key. The former is used for transacting with cryptocurrencies, while the latter is your secret key that is used to access your wallet in the first place. Now, I promised not to get too much into tech difficulties, so I'll stop there. But why do I tell you all of this in the first place? Simply because all of these terms and concepts are relevant to Web 3.0. Within Web 3, individuals would probably use their cryptocurrency wallets in place of social profiles. These wallets would be used to verify your profile and to log on to certain websites, as well as to confirm actions that you'd perform on the internet, liking your friend's profile picture, purchasing a digital drawing, or participating at a pop star gig in the metaverse. Blockchain technology would help to perform all of these processes anonymously. Now, naturally, as you can probably imagine, a decentralized version of the internet would bring with itself a lot of trouble, among other things. One of the benefits of our current version of the web is the fact that there's strict moderation involved and illegal content is quickly removed from the mainstream websites. Who would moderate such websites if the web would be lacking any central authority? This is where the concept of DAOs comes in. A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. The term sounds very fancy, but the idea itself is actually rather simple to understand, fundamentally. Imagine that, in Web 3.0, each website would have a dedicated cryptocurrency of its own. These would be known as Web3 coins. If you would own some of that cryptocurrency, you could participate in the decision-making processes of that website. What content to leave up and what to remove. What should be the color scheme of the site? Should there be a paywall for users to be able to join? And so on. Together with other holders of said cryptocurrency, you would be able to vote on the important questions relating to that website. This would form the aforementioned DAO, a decentralized organization that makes the core decisions behind how a website functions. Before we continue, let's have a quick overview of what we've already discussed up to this point. Web 3.0 is a decentralized version of the internet. It's a conceptualized follow-up of Web 2.0, the current form of internet that you and I are familiar with. Web 3 aims to tackle things such as data privacy, large corporate entities controlling what we see on the internet, and most importantly, user privacy. Also, it will bring us to the new mediums of data experience with metaverses, VR technology, and instant data aggregation. While Web 3.0 does not require cryptocurrencies to function, theoretically, the concept itself is much easier to understand when you learn how blockchains and crypto wallets work. This allows you to imagine how cryptocurrency wallets would replace online profiles and how DAOs could be the answer to keeping things civil and legal. One more thing that you need to be aware of is something known as the Web 3.0 Foundation. Admittedly, it sounds like the core organization behind Web 3.0, right? Well, it's not really. The Web 3.0 Foundation is a group that aims to support different projects that want to increase decentralization on the internet. A noble mission, indeed. However, the organization is often criticized for being rather biased. For example, it offers grants to developers, but only those who would use the popular cryptocurrency Polkadot's blockchain to create their projects. The entirety of the foundation itself is centered around said blockchain, so you can see why there are people who aren't too excited about this organization. This leads me to my final point of the video, and something that I want to leave you off with. As I've hinted at throughout the entirety of this video, as of now, Web 3.0 is still just a rough idea and a concept, meaning while there are theories of what this version of the internet should look like and ideas of how it can be developed, it's still very much in its infancy stage. Following that, many companies and organizations may try to capitalize on this and influence how people view the concept in the first place. Do not fall for it. While the idea of a decentralized web is very exciting, there are still many questions that need to be answered and problems that need to be tackled until this concept becomes even remotely viable. Such as, what will happen if the biggest part of a DAO's votes will be concentrated in one person's hands? Do we just go back to the centralized internet? How do we avoid this? And by the way, drop your comment if you already have ideas or the answer to that question. And so that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you've learned a lot and can now understand the fundamentals behind Web 3. If you've enjoyed what you saw, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel so that you wouldn't miss out on all of the latest cryptocurrency videos.